Hello, masterpieces. Welcome back to Front Porch Stories. If you've been with us since the beginning, you've watched Kia's journey through the lessons of humility and self-control. In episode 3, The Wrong Kind of Friend, Kia will face her greatest lesson yet, self-awareness, and what can happen when we mistake agreement for genuine friendship. So lean back, clear your mind, and let yourself drift to earlier times, when the front porch was a classroom and our elders were the teachers. Their stories shaped us, and their lessons still walk beside us. Kia accepted the position in Neighborhood Impact Alliance, determined to prove everyone at Unity Bridge wrong. She dressed sharply, spoke confidently, and had an attitude that they were fortunate to have her. As she strutted to her desk, she heard a familiar voice. Kia? She turned around. Maya? The two women smiled in recognition. I remember you, Maya said. You spoke at the leadership presentations over at Unity Bridge. I told everybody you were exactly the kind of leader I'd want to work under. Kia smiled. Well, I'm glad somebody recognized talent. From that moment on, the two clicked effortlessly. Maya admired everything Kia said, and Kia never questioned why. Within weeks, Kia and Maya became inseparable. They arrived together, ate lunch together, and whispered through meetings together. Coworkers began joking that if you saw one, the other was nearby. Maya seemed to know exactly what Kia wanted to hear. You're too talented to be overlooked. People can't handle strong women. They're jealous because you stand out. Each sentence fed Kia's pride, and every time Maya agreed, Kia trusted her a little more. But Maya was not helping Kia see herself clearly. She was only becoming an echo in her corner.
What began with a familiar face soon became a familiar sight, Kia and Maya, always together.
Before long, Kia and Maya were placed on the same community project. At first, their partnership impressed the team. They moved through the office like salt and pepper, secret handshakes, finishing each other's sentences, and treating every boardroom like their stage. But when deadlines were not met and details were missed, Kia and Maya looked less like salt and pepper and more like two backup singers who had never rehearsed. Kia blamed the staff for poor communication. Maya blamed the volunteers for not following directions. During meetings, Maya supported Kia aloud. But when Kia was not looking, Maya quietly wrote down her mistakes, shortcomings, and every moment she might later use to move ahead. Their coworkers began noticing how they operated. When something went wrong, they pointed fingers. When something went right, they dashed for the spotlight faster than Sha'Carri Richardson. Meetings grew quieter when they entered. Lunch invitations stopped coming. People were not jealous. They were cautious. Kia believes she and Maya were moving forward together, but Maya was already planning how to move ahead alone. A few days later, Miss Sarah arrived for a partnership meeting. As she entered the office, she heard Kia's voice. August 13th was the deadline. That was 2 days ago. Can you use a calendar? Before the silence could settle, Maya chimed in. Can you use your brain? Or do we have to think for you too? A few employees exchanged expressions, saying what they couldn't say aloud. Miss Sarah stopped in her tracks. For a brief moment, she stood there in disbelief, replaying the words in her mind, hoping she had misunderstood what she had just heard. Kia's laughter pulled her back to the moment. Miss Sarah looked from the embarrassed coworker to Maya, then to Kia. Finally, she spoke. Be careful who keeps patting you on the back. A pat on the back can turn into a slap in the face before you know it. The room grew quiet. Miss Sarah adjusted her glasses. When cruelty is what brings two people together, it may also be what tears them apart. Kia rolled her eyes. Maya smirked and pretended to lower a pair of glasses, mocking Miss Sarah. Kia stifled another laugh.
Kia saw loyalty. Mrs. Sarah saw a lesson waiting to happen.
A few days later, Maya made a serious mistake on the project. Important information was sent to the wrong partner, and the team had to rush to fix the damage. When the director asked what happened, Maya did not hesitate. Kia told me to send it. Kia turned toward her. What? Maya folded her arms. You said everything was ready. That is not what I said, Kia defended herself. The room grew quiet. Maya went in for the kill. Well, this isn't the first time. You did this last month with Jason on the Windsor project. Jason, did you ask me to recall an email because Kia gave you the wrong information? Jason hesitantly shook his head, co-signing the comment. For the first time, Maya was not standing beside Kia. She was standing behind her, throwing her under the bus. Kia stared at the woman who had agreed with every complaint, encouraged every excuse, and praised every decision. Now that trouble had arrived, Maya's loyalty disappeared. Miss Sarah's warning came back to her. The pat on the back had quickly become a slap in the face. Mr. Tucker, the director of Neighborhood Impact Alliance, wanted to get to the bottom of the Windsor mishap. He picked up the phone and called Mr. Robertson. After hearing about the day's incident, Mr. Robertson let out a slow sigh.
I find it hard to believe she made the exact same mistake twice in such a short amount of time. Her competence was never my concern. It was the way she treated people.
As the conversation continued, Mr. Tucker recalled reading an email about Kia's tirade over the missed deadline. One incident might have been a misunderstanding, but the same concerns had now followed her from one organization to another. Everybody couldn't be telling the same lie. The phone call confirmed his decision. Mr. Tucker scheduled a meeting with Kia for 4 o'clock that afternoon. Kia entered his office with confidence. You may throw me under the bus, Maya, but I've got receipts. Mr. Tucker listened as she defended herself against the accusation. He reviewed her evidence, an email clearly stating that no report was to be submitted without her final approval. When she finished, Mr. Tucker closed the email and leaned back in his chair.
Kia, thanks for clearing this up.
Kia crossed one leg over the other and smoothed her jacket, a satisfied smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. Mr. Tucker paused.
Another concern, I'm concerned about how you speak to others. It also bothered someone else.
Kia's smile faded. She shifted uncomfortably and thought, I bet it was that old biddy Miss Sarah. Mr. Tucker interrupted her thoughts.
Did you ever ask Tiffany why she missed the deadline?
Kia crossed her legs, brushed an imaginary wrinkle from her jacket, and leaned back with a slight smirk. It's called a deadline, not a suggestion line. If you keep excusing poor performance, that's all people will give you. Mr. Tucker's eyes widened, stunned by her arrogance.
Tiffany recently lost her father. She returned to work too soon. I had the deadline under control.
Kia opened her mouth to respond, then stopped. Mr. Tucker held her gaze. The silence hung heavy, like Mississippi heat before a storm.
Leave the building. Your employment with us is terminated, effective immediately.
Kia stared at him. For a moment she seemed unsure whether she had heard him correctly. You're firing me? Mr. Tucker's expression remained steady.
Yes, you are fired.
The confidence she had carried into the room disappeared. Kia opened her mouth to defend herself again, but no words came. There were no interns to accuse of being jealous, and although Maya had lied about the report, Kia knew that was not why Mr. Tucker had made his decision. His decision was based on how she treated Tiffany. For the first time, Kia could not point across the room. She had to look within. She was the common denominator.
She called it jealousy, unfairness, and a misunderstanding. Now, she had to call it a pattern.
Kia packed her belongings while her coworkers watched and whispered. She lowered her head and carried her things toward the elevator. The peacock had stopped strutting. When the doors opened, she stepped inside and pulled the box close to her chest, holding it like a shield. Just before the elevator doors closed, Miss Sarah stepped inside. Kia looked down at the box in her hands. I thought Maya was my friend. Miss Sarah gave her a knowing look. Mm-hmm. A friend, all right. A friend to herself. Now look at you, carrying your desk home. Kia seemed to shrink even more behind the box. Miss Sarah regretted her bluntness. She meant to correct Kia, not crush her. Her voice softened. Baby, a true friend doesn't help you stay wrong. A real friend will challenge your pride before they celebrate your ego. Kia's ego had been fueled by a cheerleader. What she needed was a steer leader, someone willing to point her in the right direction, even when she didn't want to hear it. The elevator doors opened. Kia stepped out carrying more than a box. She carried a hard truth. The praise she had wanted wasn't the guidance she had needed. If you don't remember anything else, remember this. The people around you can influence the person within you. Some friends sharpen your character, others sharpen your excuses. Kia blamed jealousy, unfairness, and misunderstanding. But when the same problems followed her into a new workplace, she had to face a harder truth. The room had changed. The people had changed. But Kia had not. She heard what she wanted to hear and dismissed the wisdom she needed. Her pride filled her cup with flattery, leaving no room for wisdom. As the elders used to say, you can't pour into a cup that's already full. Self-awareness begins when we stop defending ourselves long enough to examine ourselves. Before we get to today's reflection question, a quick Front Porch announcement. Thank you for helping Front Porch Stories reach 50 subscribers. We're on our way to 100. If you've been enjoying these stories, please like, share, and subscribe. Your support helps these stories reach more hearts. Now, back to the porch. Here's today's reflection question. Masterpieces. What warning sign do you wish you had recognized sooner from the wrong friend? Share your story in the comments.
I'm glad you stopped by and caught the vibe. Before you go, like, share, and subscribe. I'll save you a seat, same porch, same light, for the next Front Porch Story night.